So on June 24th, there was a really big hearing at the Supreme Court where they overturned Roe versus Wade, and we wanted to do a short series of videos to talk about these things. And I'm here with April Haskett. She's the director of Hope Resource Center, Pregnancy Care Center here in Bedford, Indiana. And we are going to talk about these things. So, April, would you share with us what you do at Hope Resource Center?
Sure, thanks. So I am the director of Hope Resource Center here in Bedford, Indiana. It's a pregnancy care center and medical clinic. And we provide free pregnancy testing, free ultrasounds to confirm those pregnancies. We also do free STD testing and treatment. We provide parenting classes. We provide material support for any families that are struggling. Anyone involved in the life of a child can come anytime and get diapers, wipes, soap, lotion, formula, anything that they need to take care of that baby.
Anyone, right.
Anyone, regardless of income. We have support groups for teen moms and dads. We have abortion recovery groups that meet regularly. We have some new things that are going to be coming pretty soon. We are constantly reevaluating and looking for new and better ways we can serve these women and families in our area.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because of all the cool stuff that you guys do for people in our community, I thought it would be ideal to have you come and speak about these things, because you have firsthand experience. You are dealing with this, having the conversations about all the craziness going on right now regarding abortion and Roe versus Wade. So we're going to talk about a few things. The first one that we wanted to talk about is, what does it really mean to be pro-life? As you see it, as you deal with it, what do you say is the true meaning of someone who is pro-life?
Okay, good question. And I like to take it even a little bit further and say that we're not just pro-life, but we're pro-abundant life, because Jesus himself said, I have come so that you can have life and have it to the full. And we want to walk with those young people through that fear and let them know that they're not alone and that we are there to serve them no matter what for the long haul.
Right.
And I think we have to keep in mind that, what does it mean to be pro-life? It's really easy to think about precious little babies in the womb and how much we love them. But we also have to recognize that every single life on this earth is created as a masterpiece by God. So we have to, we have the honor, we have the privilege of loving those moms that are scared to death and may not be so nice to us, but yet we show them love. Or those dads that are scared to death and want to run. We're here for them too. Right. We need to visit the ones in the jails and the prisons and take care of those who have special needs. They are still a masterpiece created by God. And if we are truly pro-life, we love every human life just as he does.
So the thing you said is being truly pro-life, because we can say we're pro-life, but if we're not really doing any steps to show that, can we really be considered that?
Right.
And I say that as I talked to you earlier about the issue I have is with people right now that it's been overturned, that have posted on social media and said, it's been overturned, and kind of as their way of showing I'm pro-life and I'm so glad that this happened. But if that's all we are doing, if we are just supporters of life through our social media, I shared with you how it kind of upsets me that if that's all we do, can we really say we're pro-life?
Right.
If we're not seeking ways to help all people, all life, or honestly, just you guys at the Pregnancy Care Center, what are we doing to really be pro-life, to really help the people around us? There's so much need here in Bedford. Before all of this happened, there was already a lot of need at Hope.
Right.
So what are some things that we can do as followers of Jesus? Yes, but just overall, because there's people who may be watching this who don't follow Jesus. Just overall, there's people who are pro-life that aren't necessarily Christian. What can we be doing to live a pro-life life, I guess?
Yeah. Well, you see a need, you try to meet it. You try to meet people where they are. So the reasons women have abortions are never going to change. 76% of women list financial reasons as the number one factor in them choosing an abortion. Those are not going to go away. Addiction, poverty, being scared to death and thinking they're all alone and they have no support.
Right.
Those issues are not going to go away. It's one of my most favorite things when I have a young lady. So one of the first questions people will call or email, and they'll say, can I come in for an ultrasound? Absolutely. And then the next question out of their mouth is, how much does it cost? And I love being able to tell them it's absolutely free.
Right.
And then the next question is, why? How do you guys do this? Because there's a whole army of people out there that love you and think you're worthy, and you're worthy of the love that Jesus brought to all of us. And they don't care if they know you, but they want you to feel that.
And what's because I'm getting goosebumps. What was the rate of the ladies that get an ultrasound and after seeing the baby, they decide to not get an abortion?
98% in our clinic. Nationwide, it's about 80%.
Right.
But I mean, I have seen that. I had, if you don't care if I tell a couple stories.
No, go ahead.
I had one woman right at the beginning of the pandemic. So back up about 4 or 5 years ago, I heard a pregnancy care director in Florida talk about how an abortion clinic, I'll remain nameless, but a large abortion clinic near her referred to her. And I couldn't wrap my head around that. Why would they do that? We saw that with COVID. We saw that. We saw women who told me that they called to make their appointment for the abortion, and they told them to go get a free pregnancy test and ultrasound so that I could date the pregnancy, and then they would know whether they needed to give them the chemical or the surgical abortion. So I had one woman put her hand in my face. I don't want to hear a word you have to say. Just hurry up and get this done. I can still have this today. And so, of course, and I tell my volunteers all the time, we don't have to speak a word. We just show them the truth. So I put the ultrasound on her abdomen. She was pretty far along. And I did the ultrasound and told her when her due date was, and she ran out of there. And I called her, of course. In the meantime, we're praying fervently for her. About a week later, and we follow up with all of our moms every single week. I called her, and she answered the phone. And I said, how you doing? I just want to check on you. No matter, and that's what I want to make clear to them. No matter what, I'm still here. Right. And so I called her, and she said, well, I didn't make it to the clinic that day. And I said, okay, how can I help you? Is there anything I can do for you today? And then I talked to her a week later, and she said, well, I made a doctor's appointment. Okay, great. How can I help you? Do you need transportation? What do you need? Do you need a gas voucher? And then I talked to her a week later, and she you could just hear her soften just a little bit. And then I lost track of her. Couldn't get a hold of her. Numbers change, minutes run out, whatever. Couldn't get a hold of her until she walked back in Hope one day with her 4-month-old son. Oh. And she looked amazing. She was sober. She looked amazing. And she almost tackled me. I almost tackled her, but she hugged me and started crying, and she said, he saved my life. And that's what we have to meet them where they're at. Right. And the most important gift we can give them is that they feel safe in our space. And that they trust us. Right. And I feel like I have women all the time in the community, everywhere I go. I speak at a lot of churches. And I feel like I have women that will come up and tell me about their abortion because I'm not afraid to say the word. And they feel safe in telling me that I'm not going to hold that against them. And I'm going to let them know that God wants to forgive them. And there's healing in all of that, and they can be healed. I don't know if that was the question.
Yeah, no, it was a really cool story, one example, I'm sure of many.
And that happens all the time.
Of ways that by just caring about them, loving them, hearing them, it shows the people that, man, just stick with it. And I think that's the argument people have against Christians is that we're not willing to do this. They say Christians are pro-birth, not pro-life. You just want the baby born. You don't care about their soul. Yeah. But you know what? Can you say that that's not kind of true for some churches or some people? that you just pushed, just have the baby. But you said, what about the financial cost?
Right.
What about their addiction? What about their home life? Everything will still be there, if anything worse, after the baby's there.
Yeah.
So really, yeah, why would they have the baby?
Yeah.
That's what they're thinking.
Right.
If everything's just gonna, if my boyfriend's gonna leave me, my dad's gonna kick me out, my job, I'm gonna lose my job.
Yeah.
Why would they stay? And we've talked about this before, but it does make sense. A lot of people just say, doesn't matter, just have the baby. And I want to support ministries, organizations like yours, where you don't just say have the baby.
Right.
You say, how can we help you?
Yeah.
Do you need diapers? Do you need transportation or gas? And I think that's awesome. That's what we need more of. And it's exciting to talk about. And I want people to be challenged by these things and to say, if I can't literally do those things, I need to support people that can, or get involved.
Right.
You know, there's many opportunities, especially in a place like yours, to get involved, to be the one that drives people around, I know you guys do the meal train, so you feed the people.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many things that you guys do.
Yeah. I want these young families to know we will never abandon them.
Right.
And I mean, once the baby's born, then the hard work really begins.
Right.
I mean, I can talk to a young woman all day, every day about breastfeeding, but it doesn't hit the fan until that baby's here.
Yeah.
And then it really gets hard.
Right.
And then she's coming in and crying. And then she needs us even more. Or the very few moms that we do an ultrasound on that still feel like they're trapped and that they have to have an abortion, and they do that abortion. Oftentimes we're the first people they call afterwards because they need to come in and they need that counseling.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they trust us that much.
Yeah, and I think what you guys are doing at Hope Resource, the type of work you and people like you do, that's the true meaning of being pro-life. That's the true meaning of being people that care for all life at all stages, not just while in the belly, but afterwards. And that, like I said, that's really where the work begins.